I'm gonna make this really quick because this video could get really long. Basically, I love food. I also love to travel. If you've been watching my show my channel since the beginning, you would know this because within like less than a month, I uploaded 2 travel vlogs, in both of them in which I went on different road trips to Wisconsin. And from those 2 videos, you know that I love food because probably like half of those is me showing the restaurants we went to. And, you know, normally they were really good and I had such high praise for them. And wouldn't you know it, every single state in the United States, including Hawaii and Alaska, have, according to the Food Network, which is a very reliable source in my opinion for this type of topic, every state has their own most iconic food. They even have a show about this called the United Plates of America. I'm going to give a little shout out to this. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to rank all 50... How long is this gonna go? All 50 foods that go to each state. I might have to split this video in 2. I'm just gonna have to see how long this takes. Starting, of course, with Alabama, because we're doing this alphabetically. Chicken and white barbecue sauce, which, I mean, barbecue makes sense. Barbecue's really popular in, you know, places in Alabama, near Alabama, like Texas and Mississippi, Tennessee, that kind of thing. But white barbecue sauce, I was always perplexed by that because, to me, white barbecue sauce just sounds like ranch. You know, you dip your barbecue wings in ranch sometimes, or maybe that's buffalo. But and if you look at the picture, it looks kind of weird. It's not completely covered in sauce. But chicken and white barbecue sauce has a very long history. It was created in 1925 by Big Bob Gibson, or I guess just Bob Gibson. He had his own barbecue place in Decatur, Alabama. And, I mean, it looks pretty good. I'd eat it. On to Alaska with king crab, which, I mean, this makes sense, you know. Alaska borders, you know, I think it's like the Pacific Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and the Bering Strait, so there's gonna be all sorts of fish. It just makes sense, but it's weird, because there are states on the East Coast that crab's kind of their thing, crab and lobster, so I wonder how they're going to compensate if Alaska has crab. And Arizona has the deep-fried burrito known as the Chimichanga. No one calls it a deep-fried burrito, but that's what it is. It was actually created when a worker at a restaurant in Arizona called El Charro's Cafe, a waitress dropped a burrito into a deep fryer, and thus the chimichanga was born. I love chimichangas. I mean, it's a deep-fried burrito. It's what's not to love, but I have a funny story about chimichangas. I might tell that at a later time, but we got to keep this train moving. Basically, chimichanga good. Here's one that's interesting. Arkansas is deep-fried pickles. Now, what is awesome about this is, with the others, it's harder to get your hands on king crab I guess it could be pretty easy, but if you're in Alaska, it's going to be really easy getting king crab. If you're in Alabama, it's going to be a lot more easier getting the chicken with the white sauce. Arkansas, it's fried pickles, which you can get fried pickles anywhere. I've had fried pickles where I live, and I mean, they're good too. I mean, anything deep fried is good, but it's really interesting how, something that seems like it could be anywhere, it was really just in one state. Has its roots in one state. For all the health nuts out there, and apparently there are a lot of health nuts in California, avocado toast, which I used to hate avocado. Yep, I hate avocado. Well, I don't hate avocado anymore, but I used to hate avocado, and I think avocado toast might have been the thing that kind of pushed me into liking avocado, because avocado toast is pretty good. Meanwhile, the delicacy in Colorado is lamb chops, which I've never really had lamb before, to my knowledge. I might have, but it had been a long time ago. And I do want to try lamb because I want to know how the taste and the flavor profile of lamb is different compared to beef or pork. But, I mean, I guess it makes sense. There's probably a lot of... I mean, I guess Colorado has some weird delicacies. I mean, Rocky Mountain oysters, don't look that up. I guess there must be some rule that if it exists, it can be put on pizza. This obviously is only pertaining to food, because don't put Legos on your pizza, folks. But I'm a little bit confused. Connecticut, why white clams on your pizza? I mean, it looks delicious and all. I think I would love it. There seems to be a lot of spices on it. I'm a pizza guy. I like pizza, and I mean, you can really explore with toppings on your pizza. I mean, now that more and more I think about it, and white clams on pizza actually sounds like it would be pretty good. Besides being, like, the first state ever to earn its statehood, to my knowledge, there's not really anything else Delaware is famous for. So, I mean, maybe that's why their most iconic food is fries, but it's not just any other fries, folks. It's fries with vinegar. I think I know what they mean by that, and I think it's good. There are a lot of people out there. There are a lot of vinegar haters. I love vinegar. I mean, I wouldn't drink pure vinegar, but salt and vinegar chips, those are good. So, I mean, I think I would eat a whole cup of vinegar fries like that. It's no surprise that key lime pie is the most iconic food of Florida. I mean, it's key lime pie, and I have not had a good slice of key lime pie in a long time. Really, key lime pie flavored anything is good. If you get those, the Chobani flips of yogurts, man, one of my favorite breakfasts is their key lime pie Chobani yogurt. The thing is the meringue, I think I'm very, not intolerant, but I think I'm very sensitive to, like, really rich foods. Like, there are some cakes that, like, if, I can barely finish one slice if it's too rich. And, I'm looking at this picture right now of a key lime pie, and all I'm thinking of is if I ate that, I would probably get really sick. But I love key lime pies. If you said, hey, I have a key lime pie, I'd eat it. I wouldn't care. I mean, I just love key lime. Really, Georgia? You probably had so many options of different foods, and all you picked was boiled peanuts. The one thing that can only be categorized as a snack on this list. I mean, I'm trying not to get judgmental here, but, like, I'm not a huge peanut person. I like peanut butter. I might like salted peanuts, but I don't know. I'm just not a nut or seed person. My family drove down to Disney World when I was 6 years old, and we stopped in Kennesaw, Georgia, which is a lovely city. And I mean, we went to restaurants with, like, fries that I liked more than boiled peanuts, and omelets that I liked, and, like, had omelets that I liked more than boiled peanuts. Now, obviously, those would be stupid choices, because they, like, are completely, like, irrelevant to the culture of Georgia, whereas boiled peanuts are, like, the cornerstone of, like, when you think of Georgia, you think of peaches and peanuts. So, I'm not saying this is a bad choice. It's just some states, their most iconic food is a little bit more simple, and that's totally fine. This is the first one on this list where I look at it and I'm like, I wouldn't want to eat that. I'm just not a huge peanut person. I really want to go to Hawaii and delve deeper into the cuisine of the Hawaiians, but right now, this makes a lot of sense, shave ice. I mean, on TV, I've seen people in Hawaii, like on Hawaii Five-0, sometimes they'll eat shave ice. It's weird because shave ice is like a snow cone. It's a very similar thing, and snow cones are eaten all across the country, but shave ice, it's almost like how the changing of the name can make it sound something native to Hawaii. And, when I go to Hawaii, I'm definitely getting my shave ice on. Now, I can't say I didn't see it coming that Idaho's iconic food would somehow involve potatoes. I mean, there are people that think that all the potatoes come from Idaho, which, I mean, is just untrue. But now, I've had many a baked potato in my lifetime. In fact, I've had what one would call a loaded baked potato. Now, this might not refer to itself as a loaded baked potato, but this is definitely the most loaded baked potato I have ever seen, guys. I mean, it's got, I mean, what meat is that? Let's see, it's, steak, yeah, steak. I mean, it looked like steak. It looks super good. That cheese just looks so gooey, and it almost looks like a slice of cheese, which, I mean, hey, it looks like probably the best baked potato I have ever seen in a long time. This makes a lot of sense. Illinois and Chicago, to be more specific, is known for their deep dish pizza. I love deep dish pizza. I love how the crust is very soft, and when I was the first few times I ever had deep dish, I realized it kind of tastes like a donut, which I don't know if that's true, but yeah, I mean, I've seen on TV. I really want to get some authentic deep dish, and there's somewhere in Chicago where they actually use, instead of crust, it's like burnt cheese, and that looked really interesting, because people apparently thought it was really good. Indiana has got is that a pork tenderloin? It looks really good. Breaded pork tenderloin sandwich. There is, I mean, it's weird, because normally when I see something breaded, it's like chicken. I have had a pork tenderloin sandwich before, and it was really good. But, I mean, the picture I'm looking at right now of it, I mean, it's huge. It's like 3 times bigger than the bun. I mean, this is a behemoth, but it looks delicious. Oh, poor Iowa. Sweet corn. Well, I mean, Iowa's known for corn, I guess. So, and I love sweet corn. Barbecues. You lather it up in butter. Sweet corn is an asset. It's an asset to any meal. Well, I mean, I'm not saying you should have corn with every meal you have, but, if you're having a backyard meal, sweet corn's a great asset. Thank you, Iowa. I have family in Kansas, so I've been down to Kansas many times, and I freaking love Kansas to death. I've had a lot of barbecue in Kansas. Most of the meals, I'd say, I've had in Kansas. Probably all of them have been barbecue. And I know this might not count because it kind of toes the line a bit, but one place I highly recommend you go to is Joe's Barbecue. I don't know if that's its full title, and I think it's in Kansas. It's either in Kansas, I don't exactly remember, it's either in Kansas, on the border between Kansas and Missouri, or it's in Kansas City. I was always confused by that Kansas City is in Missouri. But it's a really great place to get some barbecue. Really anywhere is really great to get barbecue. But, Kansas has got the barbecue ribs going on. And, yeah, they're right. Ribs are pretty good. I've never really been to Kentucky. I drove through Kentucky once on a road trip. I have no idea what hot brown is, guys. It's, to my belief, to my knowledge, it's a sandwich. But it doesn't look like a sandwich. It looks like a sandwich that melted. It looks delicious, but I can tell it's a very unorthodox sandwich. And all I can say is I'd love to try it. In my opinion, Louisiana really couldn't go wrong. I can think of 4 basic foods that would be in the running for the most iconic dish. Because you got jambalaya, gumbo, po' boy, and beignet would be the 4th. And ultimately, beignet won, which I love donuts. This looks like one of the most delicious donuts, ever. And I've never been to Louisiana. I so want to go. And I think that I would really like these beignets. I think probably everyone saw this coming, that Maine would be something related to lobsters. And I mean, the lobster roll, it's a good twist on... Or not really twist, but it's incorporating lobster into a sandwich. Now, I don't really like lobster rolls. I don't know. There's something weird. I had a lobster roll before. I think lobster is just something I like eating lobster whole. I like eating it in mac and cheese. lobster bisque is my least favorite soup, and I'm not a huge fan of lobster roll, so it's kind of weird. I have a weird thing with lobster, I guess. But I mean, I'm looking at this picture of a lobster roll, and it looks mighty fine, especially with that little saucer or whatever, like the bowl. I don't know what you call that. The thing of butter. Maine's got the lobster. Maryland's got the crab. 1-2 punch. I love crab a lot more than I love lobster, and I mean, you know, when I want crab, I go to Red Lobster to soothe my cravings, because there's not a lot of great crab places where I live. But hey, I mean, yeah, I'd make the trek to Maryland to get me some crab, I guess. I mean, I love soups in general, but, you know, Massachusetts has got the clam chowder, and, I think clam chowder, I think, is one of my favorite soups. I tend to like either, my taste in soups is either like the broth style. I mean, I guess it's only broth or cream-based, but like with broths, I'm a huge chicken noodle soup guy. And then with the cream-based, really any cream-based soup is good. Clam chowder is no exception. Clam chowder is where it's at. And, you know, I'd want to visit, you know, New England just to, you know, what else are you going to have there, you know? Clam chowder, oh boy, it would be good there. My grandmother, who sadly passed away when I was 5, she came from Michigan, so my father every Christmas cooks pasties, just like Michigan's pasty. And the picture that I got right now, it does not look at all like the pasties my dad makes, because normally he makes them in like a big pan, so it's more of a, like a pasty casserole. But, I mean, it's like a meat pie. Those two, meat, great. Pie, great. Come on, guys, this is a no-brainer. And jumping 2 states over to Minnesota, hot dish. Okay, so is there a difference between hot dish and casserole? Because I say casserole, but the picture I'm looking at does not look like hot dish. We've made like a tater tot casserole thing many times, but we don't really call it hot dish. So it's another thing with like Minnesota. They, I think, what do they say, like duck, gray duck or something? And you know, my dad came from Wisconsin, so we say duck, goose. It's this weird battle. I don't get it. Now, Mississippi, according to the Food Network, Mississippi's iconic dish, is biscuits. Now, biscuits are like textbook Southern dish. Biscuits and gravy. So you really never really expect that biscuits could come from one specific state. They'd just be like some mixture of cultures. But no. Biscuits came from Mississippi, and I love me biscuits. I mean, I don't have biscuits a lot, but like, you know, I love staying at hotels because we're always on vacations, and biscuits and gravy sometimes is just like the best thing to have if they're serving it. Mamma mia, I burnt my ravioli! I mean, why would you, like, of all the things you could toast, Missouri, why would you toast ravioli? I mean, I love me some ravioli, but, you know, I've been, driving down to Kansas, I've been to Missouri a lot of times, and never once have I noticed toasted ravioli. I mean, it looks great, but I just don't get it, Missouri. So as it stands, we have reached the halfway point of all of the states, and if I keep going, this video will be probably like 40 minutes long, so I'm gonna cut it off here, and, I'll soon make the next video the follow-up, starting with, let's see what we got here. Next up, Montana. So, just you wait. I will be back with the next video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later.